Hello students, I have already started your 7th chapter. Let us continue from the page number 98. I am reading the first paragraph. Most of the 70,000 or so Sherpas in Nepal aren't involved in the climbing or trekking industries. It's mainly in the Khumbu region that tourism has transformed the Sherpas lives in the generations. Tourism has made the Sherpas of Khumbu rich. So here the author says most of 70,000 almost Sherpas are not in climbing or trekking business. It was only the region of Khumbu where this climbing, mountaineering and trekking business was going on from generation to generation, and this mountaineering tourism had made the Sherpas rich in the Khumbu area. Now the next paragraph. My friend Nuru Sherpa is one of the thousands of Sherpa success stories. When he was born on a tiny Khumbu farm 8 years before the first ascent of Everest, his family grew potatoes like everybody else. You know, raising potatoes is hard work. Such hard work you don't make much money. Nima would say, but by the time he was a teenager in the late 1960s, getting into the mountaineering business was every Sherpa's boy's dream. I was a potter. I carried 22 kilos all the way to Camp 2 on Everest. That's 22,000 feet without oxygen. I was a hotel waiter. I was a cook. I did everything, tireless, bright, and quick to pick up languages. Nima became a trekking guide with knowledge of English, German, and Japanese. He saved his earnings and rented a house about 200 yards from the airstrip at Lukla, which in 1993 he turned into a successful hotel and restaurant. With a fairly reliable income from the lodge, Nima took the next step on the career path of the upwardly mobile Sherpa. Last autumn, he set up a trekking company of his own in Kathmandu, 125 miles from Khumbu. So, students, here the author told about his friend Nima Nuru Sherpa. He was born on a tiny Khumbu farm before or the first expedition to reach the Everest by the Hillary Edmund. His family at that time, before that time, grew potatoes, and Nima would said it was a hard task, and they even don't earn much money by grew the potatoes. But in the late in 1960s, he got into the mountaineering business. It was every surfer's dream to who entered into that mountaineering business. He worked as a porter, means carried things of the tourist. He carried 22 kilos all the way to Camp 2 on Everest. He did everything without the oxygen cylinder above the sea level of about 22,000 feet. He worked as a hotel waiter. He worked also as a cook for the mountaineering tourist. With the experience and service to so many people, tourists and travelers, he learned different languages like your German, your English, your Japanese, and by this business, he earned and saved his earnings and rented a house about 200 yards from the airbase of Lukla, which was later in 1993 became a successful hotel and restaurant for the tourists. Nima was hardworking, never tired, and quick to pick up the foreign languages. He also made his trekking company in Kathmandu, the capital of Nepal, which was about 125 miles from Khumbu. And like this, his social status also gets developed. Let us read the next paragraph. Three decisive innovations made the Sherpas what they are today, says Angrita. The British travelers brought potatoes from plants to the Himalayas in the 19th century, and the Sherpas recognized that this could be a staple for crop for the Kumbu climate. In the 20th century, the introduction of iodine wiped out goitre and made an important improvement in public health. And the mountaineers who wanted to climb the high peak gave us the foundation of a tourist economy that has produced more wealth and agriculture or trading ever did. Here the author says a successful Everest climber Angrita said that the three things made the Sherpas developed in their areas. Firstly, the British travelers brought potatoes plants to their regions in 19th century, which became their staple food, means the main food. In 20th century, the introduction of iodine means the like your iodized salt, which is very much needed for the care of goitre. So this iodine wiped out the disease goitre in their area. Also, those who had the hobby of mountaineering or trekking, they donate and made a foundation of tourist economy that produce more income in that area than the agriculture. So students, so they already left the agriculture and they started this mountaineering business. The next paragraph. The Sherpa began migrating to Darjeeling, India, more than 100 miles east of Kumbu in the 19th century. When the first British mountaineering expedition headed to Mount Everest in the early 20th century, traveling from northeast India through Tibet because Nepal was closed to foreigners until 1949. They hired strong young Sherpas in Darjeeling to be porters. So here the author says in 19th century the Sherpas started migrated from Kumbu and they settled down in Darjeeling in India. In the early 20th century the British mountaineering people travelled from northeast India through Tibet as Nepal was closed to the foreigners until 1949. And for this journey, the Britishers group hired the Sherpas, strong Sherpas as a porters from Darjeeling to Tibet. So students, let us begin from the page number 99. A Sherpa contingent became essential for every climbing expeditions. When the British expedition of 1953 became the first to reach the roof of the world, the final assault team comprised one New Zealander climber Edmund Hillary and one Sherpa Tenzing Norgay. So now the Sherpas plays an important or vital role to be a part of the mountaineering or trekking for the travelers.